The Finance Subcommittee of the City Council is comprised of 5 council members and considers any or all questions appropriate for the purpose of considering the budget, including the creation of new positions to the payroll, changes to the employee classification plan, or any matters pertaining to increasing the City of Framingham employee headcount. The following City Council Finance Subcommittee meeting coverage is brought to you by the Government Channel, a service of the City of Framingham.
Welcome to the City Council Finance Subcommittee meeting of June 11th. I'm sitting in tonight for the chairman, Ms. Vianney, who's joining us via Zoom just to make things a little bit easier here in the room. And the vice chairman, Mr. Cannon, will also be joining via Zoom.
Thank you, George.
No problem. So the first item on the agenda would be public participation. There is no one in the room. There's no one on Zoom looking to publicly participate. So we'll next go to the budget discussion, continued budget discussion of the FY27 city budget. It's come to our attention, we did not take a vote on 2 different line items apparently. One of them will be the capital projects and facilities line, so if anybody has any questions.
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Mr. Stephanie?
Yes.
Myself, yes, Mr. Vianney?
Yes.
I don't know that Mr. Cannon is yet here. The other item that we apparently passed on, Mr. Vianney, you might remember, I don't know if you have your cheat sheet with you.
I have it. I have my sheet, so you tell me what you need.
Loring Arena.
Cannon.
I know he passed on it, but the question is, did we go back? I thought we discussed that and maybe voted that on Tuesday night.
I thought I have it passed, and then I heard we voted on it because after Councilor Cannon asked his questions, we moved it.
I don't think we voted it, but he asked his questions. I think his inquiry
Right, so
was
why don't, to be safe, why don't we
Moved by Mr. Vianney, seconded by
second.
Mr. Stefanini. All those in favor? Myself, yes. Mr. Vianney?
Yes.
Mr. Stefanini?
Yes.
Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Okay, so that takes those 2. Thank you, Kathy.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would move that we recommend the, are we done with all the items?
Yes, yes.
I would move that we recommend the budget to the full council at the next council meeting, and with the addition of the 9 provisos that have been added to the background material tonight, and I'm happy to discuss if folks want to discuss, but I'd leave it at that.
Second.
Okay. Let's just briefly,
Do you want me to just quickly go through them?
yes.
So number 1, by the way, what I tried to do with this was to catalog the things we talked about during the discussions, whether it was myself or somebody else. The first was to for the CFO to come back to us with a plan for a structurally sustainable budget for the next 3 years by the beginning of September, which the CFO said was workable. Second was that the CFO would draft a series of policies on financial strategic planning and budgeting matters. Those are the things outlined by the CFO: budget and revenue process, reserve fund and fund balance, capital planning and debt management, revenue and free cash policies, investment and cash management. Happy to add or subtract, but seems like a good place for us to start. 3, that we look at the website, a user-friendly search tool to put our checkbook online, whatever it is that they're looking at. 4, CFO on a written report at the beginning of each quarter, including the status of the enterprise funds in a mutually agreed upon format, including cash flow, frictional vacancies, health insurance, and revenues, which is what the CFO said he wanted to do. Correct me, by the way, Brian, if I'm going through this, I'm missing something, just correct me. Please.
So I was going to ask you to fully comment after we go through them, if that's okay.
That's fine. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
5, that the mayor over the next 6 months come back to us, and these are the items that we pushed off basically to the fall: solid waste management plan, AI, city website, expansion of veteran services, options for health insurance for employees, water and sewer, rate relief and equity of residents, vehicle policy and inventory, solid waste collection policies, which I have in there twice. I'll delete one of them. 6, the mayor will provide a written report to the Finance Committee on the inventory of all municipal properties and conditions. We've done that, you've done that the last couple of years. I included that. Provided the department heads make every effort to reduce administrative costs before impacting direct services to residents. However, should it be necessary to reduce direct services to residents, said department head shall write to the council within 30 days before the reduction of said services. We've done that a few times before. 8, provide that the mayor report on the feasibility of waiving special refuse collection fee and lower income census blocks as a means of reducing the dumping of bulk items. We did that 3 or 4 years ago to deal with furniture and other things around apartments when they shift. And last, 9, that the mayor report on the status of strategic planning development in collaboration with SIFOC to the council in the fall, October 1.
So I just would ask both the mayor and the CFO if you have any, I mean, I generally appreciate what Mr. Stephanie is trying to pull together here. All in one document seems a little overwhelming to me, and I'm not doing any of it, so I can't imagine how it may feel to you guys. So if you just want to comment as to what you think is feasible and not feasible before we adopt this, so.
In general sense, we don't have any problem with this. I think it's a good roadmap going forward to provide more transparency in what we're doing in the operation of the city and to keep the city council up to date on what we're doing. Some of the specific items may not be doable, but we'll certainly, where it asks us to report on the feasibility of doing something, we'll certainly report on the feasibility or be able to give you status reports on our ability to do some other things. But all in all, I don't have a problem with responding to these at the appropriate time. We're fine with that.
Okay.
We've done that before.
I know. And the CFO, I know wanted to say something.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you. I think the only one that I would suggest a discussion or a modification on is the number 4. I certainly have with related to the quarter, the position of on a quarterly basis. I have said in more than one meeting that I want to start presenting quarterly to either the Finance Subcommittee or directly to the City Council, whichever is the most appropriate venue and avenue. But historically, the way that I've always done that is within 25 days of the close of a quarter. So, for instance, the new fiscal year starts on July 1st. So within 25 days of the close of that quarter, the quarter ends on September 30th. So at a period in October, we would present financial results for that quarter with a cash flow report, a updated balance sheet projected based on annualization of various expenses, the vacancies, health insurance, and the revenues. I think to do it on the first day of each quarter is going to be a little bit difficult if I'm reading this correctly. And so I would suggest that it set that within 25 days of the end of each fiscal quarter in the fiscal year that this is done. That would be.
I don't see a problem with that. We have, in the past, made this request for 8.5 years, and it's been extreme, seriously. I mean,
I know.
We've had an agreement that it would be reported just a printout, and often it never got here. So, I mean, that would be the 25-day grace period. I don't see any issue whatsoever with that.
So I put in 30 days.
Okay.
And I changed to the Finance Committee, or the entire council.
I think it should be for now to the Finance Committee, because A, that's where it's always been, and B, it's a little bit more in-depth, and C, let's see how we do. And if it's good, if it's something that we feel would be valuable, then I think we could
Okay,
switch
I'll
it
delete
over.
that. I'll leave it.
Start with the Finance Committee, since we've been trying for 8.5 years.
So within 30 days of the close of each quarter.
Yep. Okay. Yes, Ms. Malik?
Sure, thank you. Number 8, I don't remember us ever implementing that. I do remember it being a discussion. I'm opposed to it. I don't think it would solve the problem. I think it would create other problems, and I'm not sure why it's tied to a budget provision.
Because there's a cost associated with it. All these things are policies that associated with cost. The issue in number 8 is in certain areas, this is a big issue in District 9, a little bit of an issue in 8, I don't know how much of it is in 7, where people leave furniture when they leave an apartment on the sidewalk. And then there are all kinds of issues with figuring out
But
who to chase and what to do.
well, that should be the landlord's problem, frankly, because, I mean, apartments don't get collections, so why are we giving them special collection? I mean, the policy states apartment complexes do not, you can't be living in an apartment complex and even pay for it, never mind.
It isn't an apartment complex issue, it's a house issue.
Well-
It's a 2-family or a 3-family, you're right, it's there, but then you gotta track down whether or not they're responsible or they're not, and you've got a neighborhood living with trash. And if we can find a way to make it easier or more affordable for a low-income person to call and dispose of it.
I hate to be cynical, but I see your hand, Mr. Aviani. But if someone is going to leave their trash out in the sidewalk without any regard for where it goes or whatever, I'm not quite convinced that person is going to make the effort or even be aware that they can get it picked up for free or for a small cost if they make a phone call. Ms. Malik, then Mr. Aviani.
I'll just say there's furniture right now on Bishop right outside of Butterworth Park that doesn't belong to any house. So I'm not disagreeing that large furniture is an issue. I just think that waiving the fees for those who are savvy enough and live in other parts of Framingham, they're going to come and dump it on areas where there's no fee. I just think it creates more problems than it would solve.
Well, I don't think that would happen because people aren't going to bring their couch down to Bishop Street and go back home to Carter Drive and call the DPW to pick it up.
They're not going to call DPW, they're just going to leave it.
Right, so may as well just leave it.
Someone on Carter Drive isn't going to Bishop
But
Street.
you know what I mean, I'm just saying, but whatever, it's picking on the north side and the south side street, but it's just like, I don't know. I understand both sides of it. I tend to think, Mr. Aviani, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll speak from experience. I had a tenant in Ms. Council Stefanini's district, was a hoarder, 6 to 9 months to get her out, and she left all kinds of stuff, and she left some stuff out on the sidewalk, and guess what? The people were upset. We got a phone call. Steve was down there the next day, we cleaned it all up, and that's what the landlords deal with. It was a 2-family house. And it's just, it's a cost of doing business as a landlord. However, you see it more and more in Framingham. People leave stuff on the sidewalk, Hollis Street, there's a 6-family, somebody moved out, they put the couch, and I know the landowner or the property owner took care of the problem, but not every property owner takes care of the problem till they get a letter, and you get a lot of absentee landlords. And when I say absentee, I mean don't live in Framingham and aren't aware of what's going on. We drive by our stuff, and, I knew what was going on over there. We were trying to get rid of her for 6 months, and there was no care in the world. It was just it was a headache, and a couple of the neighbors were upset, and we got over there right away. We hired a company to come in there and get it all cleaned up because it is an eyesore for the neighbors on the street. There's no doubt about it. But, I don't believe my tenant would have called the city to take the stuff. I'll be honest with you there. But what will happen is somebody that owns the property will then make a phone call to City Hall and say, hey, I got all this stuff on the street, and they're going to go pick it up because it's in the right neighborhood or whatever it is. So if it's on the south side, maybe they pick it up. On the north side, they don't. So, there's an equity issue there, but it is a problem. It's when tenants relocate or move out in the middle of the night, it's a big problem.
Well, maybe yes, go ahead.
All I would say is, this isn't a directive or whatever, it's just asking the mayor to look at the feasibility. And if the mayor has a different way to look at the problem, I'm okay looking at it a different way. I'm just suggesting that this is a problem.
Right.
And I'm asking that we look at seeing whether or not there's a way to deal with it.
Well, maybe we could ask the mayor just to study the issue and respond to us.
And the sad part, Councilor Stephanie, if somebody calls, like if Councilor Lee and Bruno got a call, or I got a call, or any of us get a call, we call Bob Lewis. They come and get the trash, to be honest with you.
Right, but that's
I surely
the whole-
wasn't calling them for my own tenant on Seminole Ave, but, if people call and they see stuff there, and you call DPW, we have a great DPW. They're the first ones to come and pick the stuff up, so it's not a blight in the neighborhood. But,
Right, and that's the problem, Phil, that we're trying to deal
know.
with here, because, I mean, they
I
shouldn't
know.
have to do that. I mean, there's a cost associated with that. and
I
people-
agree, George.
And people who
I
are
totally agree.
responsible are the ones, we should be issuing civil fines to the people.
I'm okay with that, too.
who
So I
own the
changed,
property.
so, Mr. Chairman, I changed it to, provided that the mayor report on reducing the dumping of bulk items in these, like I say, these areas, bulk items, period.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Yep.
Yes, Ms. Malik.
Just on number 5, I'm not interested personally in a report on the city's use of AI. I'm interested very specifically on a policy of the city's use of AI.
Each of these assumes that. Each of these assumes the plans. What is the?
Resident
what
and
i-
business access municipal service and information through city website. Is that, to me, that's a report. That's not a it's not a sentence, but to me, that's a report. That's not a policy.
I tried to cram into number 5 all of the topics we went through. I mean, I could have written one number on each of those items. I just put that in there as a checklist of the things that we talked about sometime in the fall we'd come back and discuss. If the city comes in and talks to us about what their thoughts are on the use of AI, it's going to lead us to a discussion of budget and policy, which is where our role is.
So, right, I mean, it lists a vehicle policy there, so I'm just asking for it to list an AI policy.
Okay. I'll add it in.
Okay, any other discussion about this list? All right, Mr. Stephanie, do you want to move to accept it as amended?
I would change my amendment to accept it as amended.
I'll second it, 'cause I did it before.
Any further discussion? All in favor, Mr. Aviani?
Yes.
Cannon? He may be frozen, he had some internet problems before. Ms. Malik?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Before we leave the budget topic, can we just talk for a moment about what the administration's going to present on the budget and what the Finance Committee is going to present on the budget on Tuesday? Or you, as the chair, are going to present?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to present, the chairman of the Finance Committee will present the budget, I'm sure, but I was just going to bring that up also. We do need a motion for the funding motion,
What's the funding motion?
you know, from free cash, from whatever place we're getting the money. in.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
At the end, you know what it is, I mean, the
Do
total.
you have a motion?
No, that's what I'm asking them.
Oh,
Yeah, all right, yeah. Yeah, you
Okay.
did, that's correct, yeah, yeah. Okay,
I'm sorry, I should turn the mic on, Mr. Chair. It's being written right now, and we'll have it ready to be modified if any changes are made there
and
to
this should be added to the end of that motion.
the proviso.
Yeah.
Understood.
So, but I guess I was asking something different, which is, we've had a very long budget process that has been, whatever. I think it would be good for residents, Mr. Mayor, to hear from you, like you're presenting the budget, to talk a little, or the CFO, to talk a little bit about what's the budget, what does it include, what does it not include, you know, that's my suggestion. I haven't looked at it.
well, I agree that somebody has to present something, I mean, in general, generally, I think it's been the chairman of the Finance Subcommittee, I don't know how Mr. Aviani feels about it, but,
I have no problem, Councilor, Mr. Chair, you know what I mean? But I think the administration, the CFO, you know, yesterday they did a small, like, you know, Q&A and a little bit about the budget, but I think they should say something. But I'll make the recommendation, I'll vote and carry on what we voted and talk about it a little bit. But I think, you know, they're the, you know, the CFO is the expert, you know what I mean, not us. But I'd like him and the mayor, and the, you know, the mayor should say something, it's his budget. And it took a long time to get to this point, and we're finally here.
Agreed.
okay. Do you guys have any comments? Okay, good. So we'll have, everybody will have in the background material the final line items, the motion that we get for the funding, and I think pretty much keep it at that, so it doesn't get too confusing. Because that's the recommendation, the rest of the stuff was, I mean, I don't even know what's there, but I think those are the two items that really need to be there. Other than that, I don't think we need anything else, because that is the recommendation. So,
Mr. Chairman, just on
Yes.
another subject,
yeah.
we need to pin down what your dates are going to be through the end of the fiscal year, because we do have a few other items to have to deal with, like transfer to the health insurance fund from free cash.
Well, you have a meeting on the 16th and a meeting on the 30th, so
Okay, and do we have any finance committee meetings scheduled in between?
theoretically, the 23rd.
All right, 16th and the 30th for city council, 23rd for finance, okay.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, all right.
I mean, it's been a long haul for all of us, so it'd be
I
nice
know.
if we could avoid it, but if we can't, we can't. Okay, anything else on the budget presentation? Any global issues about the budget? Ms. Malik?
Thank you. I have a question about the background materials, about the budget projections for FY '28 and '29 that were submitted, which y'all have paper copies of. But, so my question is, why are there no non-union employees, EH&S employees, in the FY '27 proposed budget? Or am I not reading it correctly?
Can you repeat that again?
On the budget projections, so it's the budget projections page 2. For FY '27, why are there no non-union, city union contracts?
Those are raises. So in FY '27, everything's already rolled in, so that's just the FY '27 number that we approved.
So it's all rolled into the employee
Right, so-
compensation?
Right, and FY '28 and '29 has their anticipated raises, I assume,
Is that,
for those categories.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So fiscal '27 includes everything that has been presented, including any contractual agreement increases, step changes. If you remember in '27 for Ds and Ss, we actually eliminated the increases for Ms, except for potential steps. In '28, that first number in employee compensation is merely the rollover from what has been proposed in '27, and then below it is the analysis of union contracts, potential increases for non-union employees, division heads, and S employees. And then underneath it is what the school had presented to me and for their projections for '28 and '29. So '29 merely takes the subtotal or the total potential for the total city salary from '28 as the starting point, and then rolls through with what those contract projects. And so that is a best case at this point in time of what I think the landscape will look like. We took, as noted, we took the school, and then we included health insurance. We have included health insurance at a 10% increase, which is what medical rate inflation trend is right now. Retirement and debt service are straight from the schedules that we have currently, retirement being the approved and adopted PERAC schedule that we're paying on, and then debt service is straight from the amortization tables for all of the previously issued general obligation bonds.
thank you, that's helpful. Can I ask a follow-up?
Yeah.
Just on the dispatch, we are, the Joint Dispatch Center, we have one employee on our payroll that's coming off of our payroll. Is that correct? Once the dispatch is up and running? She's not on our payroll now? So how's the director of the
For the
dispatch?
grant,
And that's not running through us anymore?
no.
Okay.
Mrs. Stephanie?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if I look at these projections on your pillars, we're looking at about an 11% increase in these costs over the next 2 years.
That's correct.
Okay. I think that's extremely helpful for us to know and to think about it and figure out how we begin to address that. I mean, it's worth noting, this budget was tough. It was essentially a 4% increase, which in municipal worlds is a pretty healthy increase.
Correct.
On the reserve funds, do we have The Mary Dennison Stabilization Fund, is that money all encumbered in the construction? And is there any possibility we can use any of that for maintenance of the facility?
Excuse me. So as I understand it, in talking to the city accountant, the stabilization fund is the mechanism from which the reimbursements flow through, and we pay the cost for
all
the.
encumbered.
It's all encumbered, and that 3.6 million that's left is essentially the, that entity's share of the 5% retainage on the overall construction, because there is a holdback of retainage on construction pay recs, and that is intended to cover their allocation of the 5% retainage.
And do we have, the other question I have is on the opioid settlement fund. I lost track of this over the last couple of years. It's got a very healthy balance. Are there any limitations on our ability to use that for any of the public health stuff we talked about?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would have to go back and look, because I don't remember off the top of my head what limitations or exact specifications that it can be used for, but I will go back and send a memo to everyone about what the actual authorizations for use are and if it could be used for the nurses.
But our current burn rate out of that is 117,600.
So, through you, Mr. Chair, that is actually what we spent last year. This is, I presented what was audited, that we have confidence because we closed the books, the auditors went through. So this is the balances last year. We are reconciling all of these, and we'll be able to provide an update by the end of the fiscal year on where we are unaudited, but be able to give you that burn rate for this year as well.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's just, when revenues exceed expenditures, we've got an opportunity to deal with some of our outstanding issues.
Just to say that in the Board of Health meeting earlier this week, they actually talked about that in terms of looking at, because the staff person has stepped down, has resigned, who was, I forget her title, but managing that fund, and they're reevaluating, from what I understand, if that job description that person had was the best use. So my understanding is that the Department of Public Health is assessing what the best use is.
Okay.
Mr. Aviani?
Yeah, I agree with Council Stefanini. I brought that up the other night because the opioid money, I know we're going to have a person, but, I remember when we started getting this money, and I would think, that it might be walking a fine line, but, we're losing nurses, we need a little bit of help, so, anything preventative, hopefully the CFO can get back to us on that. We can use some of this money, to fund that position that was cut, that was a portion of it cut or whatever it was, because, this is a perfect use, I believe, to use this money, health-related, and it would benefit the city, so hopefully we get that.
Well, I would say I'd like to see us use it a little bit more directly on opioid-related recovery issues, which I think, unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we've failed to do so far.
I would agree with you there, too. I remember when Bobby Downey, they came in, you had all the experts, and some people wanted to do a study. I don't know why we needed a study. All you got to do is drive through downtown Framingham, go a 3-mile radius. I can write you the study, save you a lot of money. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Anybody else on this item? Okay. All right. Anything else? I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right, moved by Mr. Stefanini, second by Mr. Aviani. All those in favor, Phil?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.